There comes a point in your life when you're going to be faced with this epic battle between yourself and your reflection in the mirror. And you're going to say to yourself, man, my thighs look too big. My belly sticks out too much. My back has rolls. But if you're determined enough, you're probably going to find yourself, at the food and diet section at your local bookstore. And you're going to see all these crazy books like the Atkins Diet, Slim Fast Diet, and South Beach Diet. Um, when we buy these books, we're basing it off of the results of previous people and the success that they had, which was within, just a couple of weeks. And then it's documented and recorded within those couple of weeks. The problem is that these diets aren't meant for long-term success. In my opinion, they're just meant to keep, the consumer coming back to the product when the pounds that they shed just come back as easily as they lost them. You have to remember that your body is a machine. And just like any machine, it takes the right tools to maintain it and keep it running like it should. And in our case, food is our machine, is our tool. And depending on how we use it is going to determine how our body reacts to it. And today I want to share with you why a macronutrient diet is more successful in the long run and what the nutrients are that you need to consume on a daily basis. Together, this is a macronutrient diet, and I think that by the end of me talking, I think that you will be convinced to want to try it out. How many of you have ever tried a diet and failed? No wonder you failed. You're depriving yourself of the most indulging food ever. For that, I want to start off by talking to you why macronutrient diet might be more successful in the long run than just eating, healthy foods. For starters, let me take you through a scenario between Jessica and Bonnie. Jessica believes that eating healthy will be the answer to all of her weight problems, which might be true in the beginning, but Bonnie believes that by following a if it fits your macros way of thinking, then she can peacefully lose her weight without, having to sacrifice her favorite foods. Now, this doesn't mean, going on a 100% junk food diet, but rather, when a craving for pizza grows in her mouth, then she can calculate that into her macros and not have to feel bad about it. Jessica is going to wait till the weekend and go on a food binge comatose because she just deprived herself of her favorite foods for the whole week. And the reason that this works is because when you think of your body as a machine, it's not just going to process all of that food all at once. It's going to take, 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours for your digestive system to come into full effect. And with that being said, remember that the amount of calories that go in are the amount of calories that go out, which is also in conjunction, with your exercise. When you're exercising, first you're going to burn your carbs and then your proteins and then your fats because, most the source of your energy comes from carbs and fat is like last resort. To put this in perspective, if you eat a bagel before you work out compared to if you were to eat a cookie, you're probably more likely to use more of the energy from the bagel than the cookie because, bagels has more carbs. If you want to learn more about this, if it fits your macros, you can visit ifym.com for more information. When you think back about all the, diets that you've seen or you tried, you notice that it singles out one nutrient, making it seem like removing or lowering that one nutrient will aid you in your weight loss journey. Which is why next I want to share with you why eating all of your nutrients is essential for a successful diet. A regular diet will cause you to lose weight, but only for like the first 2 to 4 weeks. The idea is based around the fact that depriving your body of anything will cause you to lose weight, just like eating, a hot dog diet will cause you to lose weight. The notions are true to an extent, which lasts about, like I said, 2 to 4 weeks. And then you'll find yourself plateau and begin to spiral down this, this ladder that you climbed up for the past 2 to 4 weeks. And if you're willing to keep your freedom of food choice while sacrificing a little bit of labor, seeing long-term results, and not forcing yourself into a food comatose by the end of the first week, then listen to what I have to say. What I mean by labor is weighing all of your meals. How else are you going to know what you're eating? This might sound outrageous and time consuming, but remember, you're trying to break bad habits, and with that comes new good habits, which would include being a little more cautious of what goes into your stomach. Let's say, for example, you're following a 40-40-20 weight loss plan. This means that 40% of your carbs, 40% of your protein, and 20% of your fat will come from your daily calorie intake. Depending on your weight, it will range between 120 to 150 grams of protein and carbs, and between 50 and 80 grams of fat. All you have to do is find the foods that will meet that requirement. And yes, if you absolutely need that cookie, you can factor it in there and not feel bad about it. But for the most part, in order to receive your daily intake of micronutrients, you must stick to foods that have them, like broccoli and carrots and chicken. Every diet out there is going to work differently for each person, But what matters the most is how determined and consistent you are with it. What might make one diet plan more effective than or more appealing than the other is how it might correlate with the eating habits that you already have. While counting your macronutrients, you don't need to feel bad about eating a piece of pizza or ice cream. Like I said before, a macronutrient diet is the best option for your body and your health. You're in this for yourself, and you're not competing with anyone else but your own determination and willpower. I also explained why eating all of your nutrients is very important. Why would you want to deprive your body of a certain nutrient when that might be the one thing that it's craving? Your body is not only a machine, but it's also a stew of ingredients. And when you leave out one or put too much of the other, prepare for a bad tasting stew. I acquired most of my information from an online trainer at www.josephrocketfitness.com. He has been my personal trainer for the past 2 months now, and I cannot express to you how beneficial it has been for me both mentally and physically. Always look at the bigger picture and know how you're going to feel about a diet in the next 3 months. Is it reasonable enough for me to handle? Am I going to be able to stick it out without having a massive breakdown of food binging in my pantry of junk food? Just imagine yourself with the body that you want and the way you feel about it. It's a mental game, and your mind is either going to be your strongest or your weakest player. But either way, you won't make it through without it.